on the little weekend trip in Copenhagen, and I met some new friends and some old friends. And yesterday I had a conversation with one of my new friends, and we talked non-stop maybe for 1 hour. And after that 1 hour, she looks at me and she's like, "Wow, Greta, what an amazing conversation we had." I was like, "Yeah, I think so too." She's like, "You are an amazing person to have conversation with." And I was like, "Thank you." And then when I realized, all I did was, I listened. Actually, I barely talked in that conversation. And as a coach, I don't mind it. But it's very interesting how other people perceive those conversations. Because people want to be listened to. And today, we are talking here for this 1 hour about conversations. The power of conversations. The power of conversations in business and in life for us to thrive and to check with ourselves how we feel in there and what we want to carry forward. Any of you ready for some cocktails in this session? Would you like a cocktail? Yeah? It's not what you think, guys. Sorry to disappoint. But apparently there are cocktails mixed out of cortisol and oxytocin, and today you're going to practically experience that, how your body reacts when you are in conversation with other people. And I think we're very lucky today, because we have a person who has been working for 16 years with CEOs of the top companies and has been bulletproofing a lot of methods that she's going to give us today. So I would like you to get very excited, because it's going to be an amazing experiential session. And put your hands together for executive coach, Irina Goryalova.
Thank you, Greta. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello, guys. I'm not sure who's more excited. I'm excited or you're excited. But how many of this wonderful crowd here have diligently worked on? You go to personal development seminars, groups, therapy, probably you have a coach, only to end up in a conversation that sucks. You feel defensive, you feel resentful, you find yourself addicted to being right. You feel at a certain point that you are losing the conversation with the other person. How many of you? I'm really glad that I'm not the only person here doing that. And how many of you have experienced the following thing? Well, by the way, just by the show of hands, how many of you are managers of some sort? You're responsible for other people. You manage other people, okay. And then how many of you are business owners or CEOs of a company? Okay. So you need to go to a lot of management meetings, right? And in business, there are so many people who nowadays go to Zoom calls and all sorts of meetings, and they're kind of, okay, really bored. And they are looking for the Zoom meeting to be over because it's so boring, it's a waste of time, and their real work is right here, waiting for them, right? How many of you recognize this? Okay. And how many of you, it's interesting, are in sales? Okay. So how many of you are really good, you count your sales skills, and you're really good at selling, but at a certain point you find that you sell to people, but somehow the connection is not there, you kind of lose it. The real connection, human connection is not there. You're doing the quota, but the human connection somehow disappears. How many of you feel that? Have you ever feel that? I felt that too. And how many of you in your personal life you find yourself in conversations maybe with your spouse, with your kids, or your mother, who are really triggering you? Big time. The other day, when my husband, by the way, it's such a treat to be here, because I'm here with my husband, Peter, who puts up with my shit every day. It's a dream come true. But the other day, we're from Bulgaria, so we travel via Turkey, we land in Istanbul, and my female brain is doing like this. I'm looking for the exit. Where is the exit? I want to go straight to the hotel, leave the bags, and go downtown. And the kids at this point decided this is the best time to get all their monkey business tricks. You know, they are kicking each other, yelling at each other at the airport. And while I'm trying to find the exit, you know, I'm busy. And we passed by women in hijabs, in burqas. And our daughter goes, Mommy, why are these women wearing hijab? This. And I tried to explain them. And we've had this conversation before. But my husband is not listening to what I'm talking to them. And we keep on going, but the whole, you know, circus is ongoing. And at a certain point, he asked me a question, and he goes, because Eleonora, our daughter, asks me again, Mommy, why are they wearing this? And he turns to me and tells me, why aren't you explaining the kids what is this about? And I'm like, you know, by this time, I'm kind of becoming really resentful, really angry. I'm kind of starting fuming inside because the question, it has a lot of blame in it. He didn't even ask me whether I explained, whether I did not explain. He's asking me, why didn't you explain? And I'm like, you know, trying to hold my horses, still trying to find the exit. And I tell him, why don't you try to ask me a different question right now, because I really cannot respond to this. And he says, well, let's see how we can have a better conversation. I'm like, stop that crap, you know, I'm really tired. I cannot put up with this all right now. And, but he goes on with the we. How can we find a better way to communicate? And I'm like, by this time, I'm really sick of it. I'm ready to explode. And I told him, just let's wrap it up here because I'm gonna, you know, the shit will hit the fan, basically. And we ended the conversation. But the thing is, no matter how intelligent we are, you know, no matter how much we work on ourselves, there is a point when you get into a conversation. And what do you do then? In this situation, I pass to all of us. Do you recognize any of that? Okay. Or sometimes I'm trying to organize the family, trying to, you know, organize a trip or something. And I'm like, honey, like after a long day, and I'm like, honey, let's discuss this and this and this. And he's like, do you want to pressure me to make a decision right now? And I'm like, wait a minute, hang on. You know, is this your shit or is my shit? So it's become really like a joke between us. When something like this happens, the first who comes back to his senses says, is this your shit or is my shit? So it helps us to really, in a humorous way, to come back to ourselves and realize that we need to find another way to communicate with each other. So it's not a matter of IQ. It's not a matter of EQ. EQ, by the way, helps, but it's not enough. And it's not a matter of SQ. Because I can tell you that I've been to organizations where two managers don't talk to each other, and this costs a business 20 million of revenue. They don't get it because they don't talk to each other, their conversations are not effective, or rather they're dysfunctional, and that's why they don't get the business of 20 million. I also been to businesses where two managing directors run the company, and one of them says, you know, I don't want to bring this issue. I've been postponing a conversation for 6 months now because I don't want to bring this issue to the other managing director. because you don't know what she looks like when she's met. And this is not a matter of IQ. It's not a matter of EQ too. Again, it helps, but it's not enough. And what it's a matter of is CAQ, how to be conversationally intelligent. And this is conversational intelligence is not something that I came up with. It's a term coined by Judith E. Glaser. She's an American consultant. She wrote a book which I highly recommend. It's called Conversational Intelligence. And I've been lucky enough to be on her dream team for spreading CAQ around the world. Unfortunately, she passed away a few years ago. And conversational intelligence is about how we connect, navigate, and grow with others. And there are a lot of theories about how, what are the human needs. But my deep belief is that all of us deep down, what we need is to feel seen, heard, and understood. Every single one of us. And conversation is the only way to do this. There is no other way. There is no other way invented. So in our neck-breaking world, today it's becoming more important, and I think that Mindvalley is about all of this, how to help us as humanity evolve and be able to match the neck-breaking pace of this world that we live in. And conversational intelligence is one way to do this. And today I don't want to talk to you, at you that much. I would like us to have an experience. But before we do that, I was just wondering, did you know that according to a Stanford University study, 9 out of 10 conversations, 9 out of 10 miss the mark, meaning they're ineffective, dysfunctional. People talk past each other. They're addicted to being right. The other cuts you short. And there is another study of Towers Watson that says that companies that have effective communication or conversations are 350% more likely to financially outperform their competitors who are not effective in communications, 350%. So imagine what's the cost in business of not doing this. And the personal cost, I think we all know it. I don't need to quote a study to you so that you know it. Just think about a time when you disagreed with your loved ones, with your mother, with your father, with your partner, with your kids, and how much pain this brings. And how much pain this brings, really. And we often end up feeling trapped and not knowing how to get out of this, how to snap out of this. But the thing is, the question that I would like today for us to explore together is, why is this happening, that we have dysfunctional conversations, and how we can have effective conversations? So I would like us to do a little practice, if you're up for this, because I can stay here and quote studies and talk all day long. But I would like you to take away something that I think is brilliant, and it will help you immensely, because it helped me, and it helps me also with my children. Are you up for a practice? Yes. Okay, brilliant. Let me drink some water. So, for that purpose, I will need a volunteer. Okay, one brave soul back there. And I just want to demonstrate. First of all, we're going to have a contrast practice. It's very simple. You don't have to come up with anything complex. You don't have, by the way, you don't have to share any. Yes, come up stage. you don't have to share anything that's confidential by any means. I'll demonstrate it and you'll see how you can do it. Thank you very much. What's your name?
Benedict.
Benedict, thank you. Thank you for being so brave and helping me doing this. So what we will do with Benedict is very simple. First, we will experience, but consciously, that makes a whole lot of difference. We'll experience a dysfunctional conversation. And the reason I want us to do this, because we all have it. We all have done it. But the thing is, there is some magic that happens when we bring it to a conscious level, because we see it clearly. And then I'll give you a little bit of neuroscience about it. And then we will, the second practice, I will give you a specific tool, conversational tool that you can use in the work with your partner. And then you can use it in your life, and I'll share how it helped me. So are you up for this?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And maybe, first of all, can you just quickly find a partner, maybe turn to the person next to you, or somebody you maybe don't know. Don't go for the safe. I'll explain later the neuroscience, you don't have to think about it right now. There is no way for you to go wrong about this, so just go with the flow. Okay? So Bandit, what I'm gonna do, I'll first explain. What I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna ask every one of you to think of a challenging, real life, challenging conversation that you need to have. It could be with work-related or personal-related. Again, you don't need to share with your friend or neighbor, partner, anything in specifics. You don't need to mention the name of the person, even too much of the context. We don't need that. So, does everybody have a conversation in mind? A challenging conversation that you need to have? Maybe a conversation that you have postponed. Does everybody have a conversation in mind? Not everybody? Oh, we'll wait. You think about a challenging conversation. No, you don't have to tell me anything, so you're on the safe side. I'll just demonstrate the dysfunctional part. Does everybody have a conversation? Because unless you have something in mind, you won't be able to experience the practice, okay? Maybe I should ask the other way around. Does anybody not have a conversation in mind? A challenging conversation? Okay, it could be with a client, it could be a conversation where you need to be a little bit courageous, you need to stand up for yourself more, maybe a conversation which you have just simply postponed because you're afraid for whatever reason. Do you already have one? So everybody has one? Okay, brilliant. Okay, do you have one?
I have one now, yeah.
Okay, you have one. And all I'm gonna do is gonna be only 60 seconds, so you don't have to soak in this shit for too long. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask her about this challenging conversation, and in the first maybe 10, 20 seconds of you start talking, and I'll be looking at my phone, scrolling mindlessly, looking at the ceiling, looking at you, maybe scratching my head, thinking like I'm not present with her, okay? I'm not listening, and I'm a little bit mindless about this thing, and we will all do it. So what the other person does at this time, because I'm gonna do this on purpose, what you do this time is you keep talking to me, but you kind of scan your body, and all of you do. The one who's talking just scans how you feel inside when the other one is scrolling mindlessly, and their attention is not on you, on everything else but not you, okay? That's it. And then after this first 10, 20 seconds, you can leave your phone, and you can so you're telling me about your challenging conversation, what's challenging about it, and so on. And I start interrupting you, giving you unwanted advice. So this is really on purpose. And in Aikido, I don't know whether you know, in Aikido, they have a practice. When you attack, you do it with sincerity. You go 100%. So I'm not going to be doing with you something like, oh, you're a Mindvalley tribe member, you're a fellow gal, and I'm going to be really nice to you. And I'm not going to interrupt. You're not doing this. You're not playing nice. You go 100%. Interrupting, giving her advice, saying Bruce, if you want, if we use the Vision's terminology. And all she does is just, she's scanning, she keeps talking, but she's scanning how she feels. And that's it. And I'll give an end on the 60th second, so we're not going to hang in this for too long, okay? So is it clear? So 10, 20 seconds mindless scrolling through your phone. The other one speaks and scans how she feels. After that, you leave the phone and you start giving unwanted advice. You start interrupting. Do what you normally do when you have dysfunctional conversations. Okay?
We do it at the same time as you.
No, I do the demo. I'm just explaining it. I'll do the demo, and then you'll turn to each other and you'll do it, okay? Any questions? Everything is going to be real clear in a minute, okay? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Should we do the demo?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so tell me a bit about this challenging conversation. When is it, and what do you find challenging about it?
I'm a female doctor. I work with 95% of male doctors. They're all alpha male. And when I'm in a meeting, I feel like I can't express myself.
Yes, women have that, yeah. Okay. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, go on, hang on a second, something really important came up. Okay. Go on, yeah. I'm sorry. Go on, I'm listening to you. I'm all ears.
You sure?
You get the picture? So you don't have to do this. And we go to the second phase of this 60 minutes, and it's like you keep telling me about your challenge, and I interrupt and...
Okay. So I've done self-work last 2 years, and still...
Oh, you have a long time to go, you know, it's only 2 years. Oh my gosh, you're in for a ride.
I know.
I've been in there 20. It's like a roller coaster, it never ends.
Oh, really?
I'm telling you. Ask them. They know.
Okay.
But congratulations, welcome to the club.
What was I going to say?
Okay, I think you get the picture. We don't need to grill her anymore. Okay? So you get the picture. Everything clear? Any questions? Give her a hand for being so brave. Thank you. You stay with me for a while. I'm not going to leave you like this. I promise. So turn to your neighbor, your partner, and do exactly this. Take your phone out, or if you don't have your phone by any chance, which I don't believe it, look at the ceiling. And now you can thank your partner. Thank your partner for bearing with you. Thank your partner and thank you for coming back. Thank your partner and thank you for coming back. Thank your partner and thank you for coming back. And just keep quiet for just a second. And if it helps, you can close your eyes, but you can do it with open eyes, however you prefer. And just scan your body. Like, how does the head feel? How does the throat feel? Did you have had to force yourself to speak? Do you feel your energy is kind of out or inside of your body? How does the heart feel when you were interrupted, when you were not listened to, when you were neglected, and when you were doing the same to the other? Payback time. And how does the solar plexus feel? Notice. Just notice. No judgment. We're just scanning, like a scanner. We have a doctor here. No coincidences in life. So scan the solar plexus. How does it feel? My phone is really ringing right now. So, and then scan your tummy. This is where the entrepreneurial brain lives. A higher intelligence, really. So just scan it and feel. How is your energy overall? Do you have less energy than when you began, or more energy? Less? Okay. Maybe if we get a mic so that we hear just a couple of sharings, how people feel after this part of the exercise. I'm just curious if you share. By the way, I'm not doing it as a, I'm not doing this to you to show you something. I'm learning with you. So I think that what Vishen said, I really believe that the best way to learn is to learn from each other, because I can stay here all day long and it's not going to be the same. So I value your wisdom. So maybe, how do you feel in the body? If you share, yes, please, thank you.
Very insecure and unseen.
Unseen and insecure, wow. It's been 60 seconds, guys. Okay, somebody else? Thank you.
Pressure here inside in my chest and stomach, and I also feel the adrenaline, so obviously I got more energy, less.
But it's kind of jittery energy, like it shakes you. It's not a good energy. It seems like high, but then it trashes you in the ground. It's not sustainable. Thank you.
Same for me, it was mostly in the stomach, and I felt like almost an explosion, like of energy, something went out, and it kind of hurt. So I definitely thought, it's like, why are you attacking me? Why are you saying this to me? Like, listen to me. But she doesn't want to, so it's like, okay, it just hurts.
Yes, and I'm really curious, if you notice, and this is a question for everybody, if you can hold the mic, if you notice when you're interrupted, not listened to, neglected, how is your thought going? Like, is it like smooth and you're articulate, or it's something different?
No, I lost the track of the thought.
Okay.
First of all, and I don't know where to continue from there. Like, how do I go back to what I was saying to make it clearer? I can't even explain myself anymore because it's the disruption of the thought.
Yes, exactly. It's a disruption of the thought, and you feel kind of lost. She forgot what she was going to tell me. Yeah. Thank you. How did you feel, by the way?
Same. Same. Yeah.
So in the body, we have the privilege you're a doctor. So in the body, how did you feel?
Okay. So first, when you were doing this,
The phone,
I became angry. I thought, and it was like here. You could feel, anger. And then it felt like this, and when it stayed the same when you were then giving advice. Then I got confused, and then I felt insecure.
Okay.
I felt insecure.
Yeah, exactly. So it becomes starts like anger here.
Yeah.
Then it grows maybe when I start giving advice.
Yeah.
And you become insecure and you get lost.
And then, I got lost, and then I felt insecure, and then I felt like, shit. Like,
I'm just curious, if you let the body do what it wants to do when you're angry or you're lost, what it's gonna do? What the body wants to do? Like, does it want to punch, to escape, to what does it want to do?
Me personally,
Yes, yes, in this instance.
I would come back to you and I would go from the source system, like, attack back.
Sniper attack.
Yes.
Kiss to snakes. Woohoo!
Or if I'm too insecure, I'll just say goodbye.
Exactly. How many of you recognize this? So,
Flee away.
yes, one is fight, fight you to death, stab you, hiss at you, curse you, the meanest things that I can come up with, or just flight, escape, go away. Okay?
She's a reptile.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'll explain this a little bit later, but I want to do the second half of the exercise, if you're okay. And for the second half, you're again with the same partner, but we do something different for a change. Because we don't want you to go away out of this session feeling so crappy and unhealthy, honestly. You'll see why in a minute. So for the second part of the exercise, we want to see how to have an effective conversation. And the way to do it in such a short session, the best that I can come up with, is a practice that I call digging for the gold. In conversational intelligence, they call it double clicking. Just like with the mouse on the computer, you double click, you double tap, and you open a folder. And because we all have different neural pathways, we have different experience, and we make sense of the world in a different way. Your reality is not my reality, even if we lived in the same family very often. For example, just to make it very simple, for example, when I say the word wine, for somebody who had maybe a parent who's alcoholic and drank wine, the association will go in one direction. It will be about violence, alcoholism, and all that. For somebody else, maybe whose family owns winery and does business with this, and maybe they had it like for 200 years, it's going to be a totally different association. So we have different realities inside our brains. And unless we tap, unless we double click, unless we dig for the gold, we will never know what's the reality of the other person. And one of the most common mistakes in communications, and the reason why we pass by each other like ships in the night, is because we assume. We assume we know what the other person means. I'm really smart, I'm intelligent. I don't need an explanation, I know exactly what you mean. And this happens so often, especially in close relationships. For example, with my husband Peter, we often joke that every problem we have and miscommunication is because we never double-clicked, we never, in a conversation, we didn't ask this one question. So this is my really gift for you. It works, this question that I'm gonna demonstrate now works even with our kids. Actually, it changed our conversation with our kids because our older kid, George, he's 11 now, but he used to be 4, and we used to take him from the kindergarten, and on the way home, we would say, "Oh, how was your day, honey?" And he's like, "Oh, it was good, fine." And we're like, "Oh, come on, we know something about conversations, why are we having such a crappy conversation with our child?" And when we learned that question that I'm going to give you in a minute, that completely changed the whole story. And the conversation can go on and on and on. And I know, how many people in the room have kids, by the way, are parents? How many of you have teenagers or pre-teenage? Yes. And the complaint often of parents is that children, use very short sentences, or if you're lucky, like 1-2 words. And this is a way to unfold, like the conversation never ends unless you want it to end. And it's like unfolding new meanings and new things that you never thought are in your child's life, your spouse's life, your client's life or in their head in terms of their business, I've seen this question opening new markets for companies. So don't get misled that it's very simple. I would encourage you to try it now and then use it and let me know. I'll be here all week. Let me know how it works for you. So what we are going to do is very simple. I'll ask you the same question. What's the challenging conversation that you're thinking of? When are you planning to have it and what bothers you about it? Okay? And I will listen to her this time. No phones, no distractions, no looking at the ceiling and stuff. And I will be listening to you with curiosity. This is maybe the simplest way. Some people ask me about listening. There are 4 levels of listening. It's kind of hard to, to do this today in 50 minutes. But the simplest way to practice listening is to go with curiosity, go with a sense of exploration, and just listen to understand. I really liked, I'm in the manifesting mastery with Regan, and I really liked, and I'm going to borrow her term, innerstand. Go with curiosity to innerstand. What's the reality of Benedict right now, or what's the reality of your partner, okay? And I'm going to demonstrate. It's going to be real clear in a minute, okay? Yeah. Ready? Okay. So Benedict, tell me again about your challenging conversation. When are you planning it, and what's so challenging about it for you?
So I'm planning to actually physically attend the meeting. Up till recently, thanks to COVID, we changed our meetings to Zoom, and it's very safe because I can do other things and I'm still in a meeting but I am not seen. And I feel it's my duty to be in the room physically. I'm a female doctor, the other doctors are all male, and they've got a little club amongst themselves. So we discuss.
I'll just ask you, just this is the first part, so you go and try to listen to her, nothing else. First, like with the previous exercise, you just listen, you try to dive into her reality with curiosity. And then you add one question. Whenever she says a word that I don't understand, or I don't want to assume that I understand, you ask, when you say a club, what do you mean? You know, it's so simple. And I'm going to do it right now and you'll see how it works, okay? So when you say they have a little club, what do you mean?
We have like 3 times a year a clinical meeting where we discuss medical issues across all specialties, and they are discussed amongst physicians.
Okay.
It's called the physician meeting.
And but what do you mean when they have a club? Like, is it a formal club?
It's not a club, it's a meeting.
It's a
Boring.
Yeah, a boring meeting.
Well, the way I see it at the moment, it's a meeting where they complain.
Where they complain?
Complain, rightfully so, problems, but they are not real solutions. And I feel with the work I've done the last 2 years, I could contribute by challenging thoughts. But for me, that is quite confronting because they scare me to death.
And when you say they scare me to death,
I'm scared of them. Very big alpha males. Scary.
Scary big alpha males. Okay. Okay, and when you say that they're scary, in what way do you mean that? What's scary about them?
Because throughout my training, I've very often been insulted. Such as, why do you want to go now? You choose between being a surgeon or washing socks. So I've had a lot of. I haven't been treated very nicely
Because what? I didn't hear.
It's difficult to be a woman amongst lots of men and being an equal as a woman.
And when you say it's difficult being a woman among male, What do you imply by that? And what do you mean? How do you feel it?
Well, at an intellectual level, I understand them very well, and I'm attracted to that. And so I step in and I'm trying to connect with them. And I think over the years I've developed a lot of masculine energy. I've become aware of that now, but for 30 years I didn't understand. When I go to a colleague as a friend, like I'm with good, I always have this like
You step back.
yeah. So as a result, I was very often on my own. Yeah, I can't explain very well.
Yes, I think it's very clear. And what is challenging about this part for you? And maybe we can close.
What's challenging
here.
is that because I feel so insecure, I am scared of expressing my views.
Okay.
And I believe that I've got something to contribute.
Okay. And I feel there is a conflict around this.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. We'll stop here. Thank you. Give her a hand, please. That was very brave. So, we are the same two people. We haven't changed for 2 minutes. We're the same people. We just changed the conversation. I started listening with the intent to understand, to understand, to get into your reality, what's going on with you. And then I added a simple question. When you say I'm scared, what do you mean? When you say, I'm scared to be a woman and to be equal, what do you mean by this? And she elaborates. And did you see how the conversation unfolds, and we can go on for quite a while. Just for the purpose of the exercise, I don't want to go so that you can practice this, okay? Are there any questions? So you do the same thing so you can switch, okay? And I'll give you the neuroscience about this after that. Any questions? Everything's clear? It's all a matter of practice, so go. Thank you. And you can thank your partner. Thank you for coming back. Thank your partner. Gently close the conversation for now. You can continue later if you want. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for coming back, people. They're gonna kick us out of the room. They're gonna kick us out. Ah, that worked. A little amygdala hijack. We're gonna talk about this right now. So thank you very much. I just want to hear again from 1 to 3 people what was different this time. How did you feel in the, well, I'm sorry. First of all, scan. How do you feel? Again, scan your head. I get excited. Scan your head, scan your throat, how you're speaking. Notice how your thought process was flowing. Notice how your heart feels. What's your heart rate? What's the difference from the first time? Notice how your solar plexus, the center of power, feels. And notice your gut brain. And overall, notice all your energy. Is it extended and you're depleted? There is no energy in you? Or it's just the opposite? And also notice how was the atmosphere, that third entity that appears between the two. If you even visualize it, as a symbol, as a color, what happened between you? What happened? What was different from last time? And also notice the room. How do you feel the room? Is it thicker, heavier, or lighter? How you feel it? So maybe we can have now a few people to share. Who wants to share? Yes, please.
Well, this time I've been the one who interrupted, you know?
So you didn't do the exercise then?
So, yeah, this time I've been the one who interrupted, and I feel quite like, bad that I couldn't like listen to it.
But you were not doing the exercise then, if you interrupted.
Okay, so
You were supposed to ask the question, what do you mean by this? So you did something different.
she has to tell it, right?
Okay, yeah?
Oh no, because before we only had the chance for me to
Uh-huh.
be the one interrupting, so we were catching up. We did first the asking the questions,
Okay.
and then we were catching up. We thought we had to change roles.
We did the second, maybe you didn't understand the exercise, but the first part was you were interrupting, scrolling through your phone, and then interrupting the other person and giving unwanted advice. That was the first part. And then the second part was that you listen to understand the other with curiosity and ask the question, what do you mean by that? When you hear something that you don't want to assume you know what she means.
Yeah, but we thought we had to change roles.
No, you changed roles but with the same exercise. So did you end up doing the what do you mean part? No? Oh, that's a shame. We're not gonna leave you like this. Don't leave the room, please. So how did you feel like overall in terms of energy?
My energy was higher, my heart was fuller. I feel like, when you make connection, it creates energy. Plus access to more energy. You feel lighter.
My heart was fuller and you have access to more, is this what you said? You have access to more energy.
That's right.
And how was your thought process? Like,
Oh, a lot more clear and it grew. Obviously, the conversation was a lot easier and more natural, and obviously felt heard and seen a lot better.
heard and seen. Well, I cheated a little bit. I didn't give you 60 seconds. It was like more like 120 seconds, so that you feel a little bit more. But do you notice that it's the same two people, and we had 60 minutes of struggle, 60 seconds of struggle in the first instance, and then we have 120 seconds of heart fuller, more energy. And what happened with the challenge? It's interesting when you discuss it in this second way. What's different?
Well, you're able to come to better ideas and better solutions for your challenge.
Aha, better ideas and better solutions. We have solutions for 2 minutes? Wow, that's hyper productive. Thank you. Give him a hand. Thank you. Somebody else? Quickly, before they kick us out. Come on. How did you feel? Okay, yeah, it's interesting. What's different for you?
So this time was totally different. There was a flow of ideas and thoughts, no interruptions. It was definitely warmer. I felt even warmth, like in the body. Here, but I don't know if I'm feeling more than usual, but I definitely felt warmth on the heart center and nothing on the plexus.
Yes, warmer and more ideas in terms of the challenging conversation.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about this upcoming challenging conversation? Is it lighter for you right now, or it's heavier, or how do you in general
Lighter.
think of it?
Lighter. I feel supported in a way. Like somebody just heard and wants to help, even if they don't know how to and they're not in my place. They have something to help with or support with.
Yes.
That's only by energy, like nothing that she even suggested. She never said anything about what to do. It's more, I hear you, you can go and do it, don't worry.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you very much. Give her a hand, everybody. And one third person from the audience, and we'll ask also Benedict before I go to the neuroscience of it. One more, last one. Yes?
It's just getting clarity.
Uh-huh.
Just getting clarity, and it allowed me to kind of structure and plan it, and
Structure and plan for 2 minutes? Okay, not bad. Structure, clarity, structure, and plan. Just notice the language is completely different. Thank you, thank you. And just notice that, again, to reiterate this, the same two people, one way of conversing produces one result, and then the other way of conversing creates a totally different result. For 2 minutes, clarity, structure, warmth, more energy, more access to energy. Who doesn't want that? And by the way, language is the FOXP2 regulatory gene, which means, in neuroscience, that means that it has a language, words have a transcription ability. So we have fixed genes that I'm never going to be blonde with blue eyes, maybe. Things are advancing in the beauty industry, but in any case, so I'm I'm with this structure, so these are my fixed genes. But there are other genes that are transcription genes, and language is a regulatory gene, which in plain language means that our conversations, the way we converse with each other, has a writing ability on how we view the world, how we adapt to change. And do you remember this famous quote of Charles Darwin? It's not the fastest or the most intelligent, but the most adaptive to change will survive. Well, nature, Mother Nature, as wise as she is, gave us this option through conversations to shift our perception, to adapt, to be more adaptive to change, and to change with times, and not be like dinosaurs in the National History Museum in London, So what was your experience before we let you go in this exercise? How did you feel in the body? What happened for you? Because just in the second half of the exercise, because you went really deep and personal.
I really enjoyed being with the group and seeing how people did the exercise, and I felt love. And
how did you feel in the body when you were?
Calm.
But you first became emotional a little bit.
When we're having the second conversation?
Yes.
Oh yeah, because I was saying something that I'm very ashamed of.
Yes. Okay.
And I was emotional because I was able to say it.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Benedict, for being willing to practice. And give her a hand. And maybe everybody is asking, what the hell happened? How is this possible? What the hell happened is that we have something here, touch the back of your head here. This is the amygdala. And what happens is that think of it as a super bodyguard. It's connected to all 5 senses, so it helps us survive. It scans the room immediately when you get in a different place or in a different country. It scans immediately the environment and looks for danger. It's intended to make us safe. But the thing is that when we get into a conversation, it switches on, and it has 4 responses. It's either fight, I'm gonna argue with you until we die right here, okay? This is what she said, I become angry, okay? So this is this kind of energy. The other energy, I am sick of you, I don't wanna deal with you, and I go away. This is the flight energy, the second response. The third energy, the third response of the amygdala is freeze, which is the deer in the headlights, on the road. Okay, so it freezes. Rarely happens in conversation, but the fourth one is appease. So the appease one is when your boss is a bastard, but you never tell them because they can fire you, okay? And again, it goes back to ancient times. If I'm a deer and I meet a lion, I'm not gonna go and tell the lion to, my children are here, I'm gonna retreat, okay? But the thing is that this in conversation switches on immediately. It's like a highway, super highway. It's a brain of 1,000,000 years and we cannot stop that. So the only thing that in the human brain, by the way, we have 6 brains. We have the primitive brain, like the amygdala, the limbic brain, which is the storage of all our emotional experiences. The neocortex, which is the logic and the structure and all that. And then the prefrontal cortex, which makes us human, by the way. This is the only thing that makes us human. Only some dolphins and some parrots have that, and it's far, far underdeveloped in comparison to the human prefrontal cortex. This is the CEO of the brain. And what the CEO of the brain does, it is the only one that can collect intelligence information from all other brains, including the heart brain and the enteric brain, and can overpower the amygdala. But the thing is that we need to be conscious of it, okay? So that's why we kind of do this, and we ask this question, what do you mean by this? So as not to get into, climb the ladder of conclusions, get into amygdala hijack, I'm right, she's wrong, I know the road, which was the first conversation. And by the way, this is the conversational cocktail. We have the moment we speak, even one word, we have amygdala and prefrontal cortex. When the amygdala is active, we have cortisol. Cortisol is the stress hormone, and it sprays all over your brain because the point is to run. For example, if you meet a lion in the forest, it's not going to be like, okay, well, let's see what it means for me in my lifetime to meet a lion in front of the jungle. It says run! It says run. If there is an earthquake, you'll need to run. If there is a snake here, the amygdala is not going to tell me to reflect on it. It's going to tell me to run. But in a conversation, the thing is that when the amygdala switches on, the only way to get out of it, to snap out of it, is to be aware and to have a conversational tool to get out of it. The problem with cortisol, and I'm closing this right now because they're reminding me, the problem with cortisol is that it takes 26 hours to disappear from the body. So that basically means that if Peter tells me something really bad, nasty today, and this will immediately produce cortisol in my system. And if I go to work and somebody argues with me, this is again more cortisol. And if I go back to home and the kids are fighting, it's again more cortisol. So I'm in a constant cortisol bath, okay? So this is the problem, and we get sick over time. And the way is to be conversationally intelligent. We didn't go, of course, through all the practices to do this. But if you try, and this is my challenge for you, if you try, what do you mean by that? Try it with people this week. When you meet new people, don't assume you know their reality or what they're talking about. Ask them, when you say this, what do you mean? And see how this shifts the conversation. I think you've experienced it. And the thing is that when you do that, this brain here, behind the third eye, the prefrontal cortex, it switches on. And when it does, it switches on oxytocin, which is the feel-good hormone. You know, a lot of people thought that this is only when you're breastfeeding, so this is good news for men. You don't have to be breastfeeding to have that. It's a feel-good hormone, and like dopamine, it's not addictive. But you need to kind of nurture it and practice it. So this is my challenge for you. Practice this. What do you mean when you say that? With curiosity? Yes, with curiosity. So maybe just quickly, 2-3 people, one word.
Maybe let's do it.
Yeah.
Break. The task for
Okay. So this is from me, guys. Thank you very much for your patience. I hope you enjoyed it. I would love to hear what this session brought for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for your patience.
Okay.